started off our prototyping by gathering some information. We went to the Indiana State Museum and the Coles Children's Museum to observe the exhibits and the people interacting with the exhibits. We observed a very diverse group of visitors. Exhibits should offer the possibility for different types of visitors to engage differently. Our observations ratified Falcon-Durkheim's comment concerning social context dominating people's memories after visiting a museum. Designing for collaboration and social interaction can help to create a more memorable experience. We also observed that many exhibits were designed to take visitors to different places and periods of time. We reflected that the exhibit should immerse the visitors into an otherwise impossible trip. We witnessed that people like to be in control of their own experience, to relate to their own previous experience, and imagine themselves in that situation. Falcon and Durkheim explained that exhibits should invite visitors to participate and become intellectually involved. We took inspiration from the Indiana State Museum placement of Lincoln busts in unusual locations throughout the museum. We turned it into a game of Find the Bus. This goes along perfectly with Singer's engraver paper of designing for emergent behavior that allows individuals to define their own meaning. Dan's disability, plantar fasciitis, is a disorder that makes walking difficult. This was prototyped by placing extra socks in the shoe that caused discomfort in walking. Dan's experience gave him the feeling of being left behind as others in the group went ahead. He also noticed a lack of concentration on the displays because of his discomfort. Insights include the importance of designing spaces that allow resting and the importance of engaging visitors whose movement is limited so that no visitor is left behind. Nathan's disability, rheumatoid arthritis, is a long-term disease that leads to inflammation of the joints. Taping the joints of his hands simulated this. Although Nathan found it easy to adapt to the situation over time, he did struggle when, due to his disability, he had to relearn already internalized processes such as tying his shoe. Nathan's experience led us to decide that, without leaving aside the sense of touch, our exhibit should not be based on the manipulation of objects. Marisol's disability, cataracts, is a cloudy area in the lens of the eye, thus making it difficult to see. Taping plastic over the goggles simulated this. Others being able to see what she could not irritated her. She was uncomfortable with people moving around her and not recognizing them. Insights include that contrast, lighting, and size of objects are important. It is also necessary for multisensory feedback to confirm an action was taken. And finally, visitors might need the presence of caretakers, so it is important to design for them as well. Based on our insights, we started to brainstorm ideas that could give the visitor the opportunity to have an otherwise impossible experience. Inspired by some of the exhibits we saw, we explored ideas that would elicit visitors to reflect on the relationship between cause and effect. We thought of remediating Conway's Game of Life, a simulation of life and death based upon mathematical rules. We gave up on the idea because of its complexity. We also explored an idea of a weather machine where visitors could change the variables such as sun or rain and affect plant growth. We dismissed the idea because it did not seem feasible in the time allotted. Inspired by the Game of Life's theme, we finally decided to design an exhibit where visitors could travel inside the human body, learn about the immune system, and if they wanted to become part of the war between bacteria and antibodies. The design consisted of two parts: a room containing human immune system information on the walls, and an interactive floor depicting blood flow. Visitors stepping onto the floor spread bacteria that kills the red blood cells. Special regions in the room enable visitors to become antibodies. Antibodies kill bacteria just by being next to them. Since most of the experiential qualities we were looking for in our design were focused on the interactive floor, we decided to vertical prototype that part. To accomplish this, we used different sized colored paper representing two types of germs and antibodies. The smaller pieces of paper represented antibodies. We marked regions using whiteboards indicating where visitors could change their role from bacteria. Since we wanted to evaluate the visitors' interpretations of the interaction, we only gave them basic explanations about the type of exhibit they were going into and their role in it. They were given a large paper cutouts representing germs. They were then asked to spread the paper as they walked. When visitors approached antibody regions, they were encouraged to read the instructions and exchange bacteria for antibody cutouts. Nathan played the Wizard of Oz, picking up the cutouts when the correct antibodies were placed within proximity of bacteria. During the evaluation, visitors expressed confusion and frustration. After throwing some pieces of paper, they started to ask what now and said that they felt that they were only making a mess for Nathan. Only one visitor deviated from this interpretation by turning it into a game. He became an antibody to attack other visitors' bacteria. In an effort to address accessibility, we considered adding vibration and sound feedback. To migrate confusion and let visitors construct their own experience, we decided to randomly assign roles and let them toggle roles by approaching special regions. Reflected upon our prototype results revealed having visitors actively throw papers suggested a single correct interpretation. Also, the presence in the Wizard of Oz could be disruptive. Therefore, for our next iteration, we decided to test how a low-fidelity digital prototype would affect the visitor's experience. Our second iteration was a program developed by Nathan that models our proposed interaction. We projected the program onto the floor and asked our visitor to step into the projected area. Nathan played the Wizard of Oz again by clicking over the places where the visitor stepped. This time we gave no context to the visitor with the intention of testing emergent behavior.